Hi there, it's Cassie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and blog. Today I have a card for the Color Throwdown Challenge number 483, which is the colors Coral, Green, and Craft. And I am going to use a cute little stamp called Meow You Doin by Fawn. And I'm going to use the die as well, along with another die called the Magic Color Slider die. And I'm only going to use one of the dies from there. I have grabbed some Express It cardstock, and I've put it in my Tonic Studios Stamp Platform, and I'm going to stamp my cat down on that paper with some Fawn Jet Black ink, which is good for Copics. I'm going to stamp it a couple times so I can get a good impression, which is the wonderful thing about that stamp platform. And then I'll clean it off and get my yarn stamp out, and I figured it was just easier to just go ahead and stamp it one by one because I wanted to do 5 of those. No special coloring here, just same thing I typically do, and the colors are all listed on the side there. But I wanted to tell you a fun story about my cat. My cat is a Siamese, and if you've followed me for any time, you know that I typically color most of my cats like a Siamese. My Siamese cat is 11 years old, but he is still as spry as ever. And I have a fun story. My mom used to live with us several years back, and she had her own room, of course, and but she always kept the door closed to keep the animals out, and because she had a small room, and that made sense. So there was one time she didn't get the door completely closed, and Nick had gotten in there, and she didn't know it. So when she went back and found that the door was kind of open, she just closed it, and we ended up having to leave. We went somewhere for a few hours, not very long. And when we came back, I had noticed in the hallway there was a bunch of chocolates in the hall, and there were more sliding under the door. Well, I guess the smart cat that I have, Nick, decided to knock over a bag of chocolates and use it as an SOS. He was asking for help. So when we discovered it, we let him out, and needless to say, he wasn't real curious to go back in there anytime soon. So I colored those yarn balls with the colors on the side. No real crazy coloring going on there. Sorry, it's a little bit off camera for that last one. And now I'm going to run those through my die cutting machine using that Meow You Doin die. I've taped it into place with some micropore tape, and I also used the heart from the Magic Color Slider die. And now I'm cutting some acetate, and I'm going to glue it down with some multimedia matte. And I'm not going all the way to the side there, if you've noticed, because it's a liquid glue. I don't want to, once I push that acetate down, I don't want the glue to completely seep under. So I'm just kind of pushing it down, making sure that it has a good secure hold. And now I've got my 3M foam tape, and you notice what I did is I folded it in half, and I have put that all over the back so that I have a good pocket for my shaker. And I've taken my Neenah Desert Storm cardstock, and I have scored it at 5.5, so it is a top folding A2 size card. And I've got that little powder bag I kind of in the sides there just to make sure that the sequins don't stick. And those sequins are from Pretty Pink Posh. They are 4mm and 6mm, the metallic rose gold, and then the green that I'm going to be using is the Whimsical Forest. They're really pretty, and I thought that went well with the color combination. So I'm filling up my pocket pretty well there. And here is where I was thinking, oh, well, this was probably not the best way to put together the card because I couldn't really see where it was. And it isn't completely straight, but it works for me. It's straight enough. I tried to pick it up and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to mess it up if I do that. So it's good enough. And now I'm trying to position my little character, my little Nick the cat, on my card with the yarn balls and see where I want to best put it. But I need to have a sentiment yet, so I've grabbed that cardstock again in my stamp platform, and this is where the Meow You Doin sentiment comes in, which is just hilarious in my opinion. I think that Fawn's really good at some of those punny sentiments. It's one of the reasons I like them so much. So I'm going to stamp that in jet black, Fawn Jet Black ink on the bottom of that cardstock there. And then I will grab my trimmer, my paper trimmer, and just kind of trim it kind of close there. And it's the same size as the front of that panel, which that panel was cut to 4 inches by 5.25. So that panel that I did with Meow You Doin is only 4 inches across. And now I'm just trying to find placement, trying to figure out if I want to use all those yarn balls or where I'm going to put them, because, you know, the rule of odds So I just decide on those 3 and I leave those 2 off to the side. And then I'm going to grab my multimedia mat and I'm just going to stick it down with some glue. And the nice thing about that glue is that it's, you know, not permanent right away, so I have a little bit of time to fuss with it, see where I want to put it. And I had considered putting these down with some dimensionals, but I thought, well, there was already 2 layers of dimension with the shaker, so we'll just stick with that. And now I'm just sticking all those down. And once I've got all those down, I decide I want to have some more sequins. So I just grabbed the 4mm in both the metallic rose gold and the Whimsical Forest, and I'm just making little dots of where I want to put those. And I'll use my crystal Katana, which I love that tool. It's a pricey tool. I think I spent $30 on it when I bought it, but I love it. It works so well. I've had other tools, and this one is just, in my opinion, superior. So I grab it all the time. I had watched a lot of reviews on it and decided that it was worth the investment, considering I like to put, you know, different sequins and things like that down on my card. And once I'm done with that, I'll decide that I want to put a little something on the inside. So I grabbed some Versamark ink, which is just a watermark ink. It'll just kind of make the image a little bit darker on the cardstock. And just stamped one little cat on the inside. I didn't want to put any more in there, just that. And that will complete the card. So you can hear it's a shaker. I end up loving it. And anyway, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comments below. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you again soon. Bye.